Mass Media.
Welcome to Anything But CliShay, a place for real talk about age gaps, culture clashes, and all the things people whisper about but rarely discuss out loud.
Yeah, we're kind of defining a relationship on our own terms.
I would say unconventional relationship.
In every sense of the term. So many dynamics that come into our relationship. Our races, our age. You're like basically on Social Security.
Because at the end of the day, I mean, I love you.
Here are your hosts, Clifton and Shay.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Anything But CliShay. We're your hosts, Clifton and
Shay.
Together we are CliShay. All right, so I guess this is our first episode of Cruising with CliShay? Question mark? Yeah, we had a friend who suggested that moniker for our travel segments. Today we're going to get into the nightmare that is Stansted Airport in London, England. Shay, are you getting triggered?
A little. It was horrible.
It was horrible.
10 out of 10.
0 out of 10, actually.
Well, if I say 10 out of 10, don't recommend. That means I don't recommend it to the utmost.
Okay, that's fair.
That's how I mean it.
Okay, I would go the other direction and say 0 out of 10, highly unrecommended, something like that.
Yeah, same thing as 10 out of 10, don't recommend.
Okay, so if we agree, then why are we arguing?
Oh my God, you and the Simpsons quotes.
All right, anyway, so first thing to note about Stansted Airport is it's not an airport. It's a mall.
Yeah.
That happens to have flights.
Leaving from it.
It's crazy. So we missed a flight at Stansted, and it was not awesome. The reason we missed it was partly my fault because I thought we had more time than we did. I'll take a little bit of blame on that one.
I'll take a drink on that one.
Cheers, baby. But so we arrived to the airport with probably an hour before our flight? Question mark?
No,
Not
it was
that-
less than an hour.
Okay, maybe 40 minutes before departure or before the gate was supposed to close.
Yeah, I think
Something like that.
I think it was less than that, because I was like, I think we probably walked in the airport with 30 minutes.
Yeah, 30 to 40, right in that range. And, the check-in process was not bad. I mean, there were a lot of people, but honestly, they were getting through the line relatively quickly for security. They don't make you take your shoes off. Everything's automated. The bins, were mechanized and all that stuff. But
the length of the line is when I knew, like, that was making me nervous.
Fair. But so we got through security with probably 20 minutes remaining.
We have a different interpretation of this.
Okay. Well, then why don't you lead this one?
Well, no, not like I want to lead it, but we did not have that much time. I was watching the clock the whole time. When we got to the airport and we were standing in TSA, we probably had 10 minutes. And then I just already knew, and I was like, that's why I was getting kind of frustrated.
You mean when we got through TSA?
No.
It,
You didn't get through.
I know.
got through.
Okay, when you got through, and I told you to go to the gate and leave me because they needed.
It was already it. That was it. I maybe had 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay.
To get there. That's why when I started, like, I was moving pretty fast. I was like, there's no point. Like, there's no way when I figured out how far TSA was from the actual gate. I'm like, we're not going to make it. Even if I make it, they're going to be like, you can get on the plane, but we're not waiting for anyone else.
So we should also note that in the UK, security is not called TSA because that's an American moniker. But anyway, whatever it's called. So Shay got through. They pulled my bag for secondary inspection, and there were like 5 bags for secondary inspection before mine. So I told Shay, you know what, go ahead to the gate. I'll meet you there. If you're there, maybe you can hold it until I get there. They can see that I'm also checked in because, you scan your boarding pass. It was wishful thinking on my part, but hey, it's, at least I always wanted to at least try, right?
Yeah.
So I send Shay on. They finally get to my bag at the secondary inspection, and bless her heart, the woman pulls, scans the barcode or whatever to pull up the security screening for my bag, and she's like, we lost the image. I have to scan it again. And I was just like, you got to be kidding me. Like, everything that went wrong, that could go wrong, went wrong. Yeah. So she sends it through again. And then once it came through the second time, there wasn't even, she was just like, it's fine. And I was like, why did you even stop it to begin with? She did nothing. We just were not meant to make that flight. In any case, so Shay goes on to the gate. What was, as soon as you walked out of security, what did you find?
A fucking mall.
Not just a mall, but a maze of a mall, yeah. Right?
Great stuff, though. If I wasn't so pissed, I would love to shop. Like,
Shay was certain that the intent of the airport was essentially to take all of your makeup,
or
right?
like any of your liquids.
Take all your liquids at security and then sell them back to you on the other side of security, right? Because there was MAC and Sephora and all the colognes and designer, everything.
Any makeup brand you can think about, any designer that you can think about was in that bitch. Yeah. So I'm pretty convinced, like, if you go through the other security point where they make you put everything in a plastic bag, if it doesn't fit in there, you get into the airport and then you buy everything back, which also just means there's absolutely no type of reasoning for you taking all my shit because I can just buy it after I go through security and then shove it back in my bag.
The reason is that if you buy it there, it's been inspected and they know it's safe. Whereas if you had it at home,
that's not even true because they would have let me split up my stuff with yours. Still, it doesn't matter. It's all about that's what they want us to think. There's no logic behind why I cannot have that many liquids. You could have
tampered with the stuff at home. Right.
That's not true, though. I don't believe that.
All right.
Because even before they were like, oh, you guys can split it up. So us splitting it up doesn't mean anything. You're not actually inspecting what's in the liquid. You just want to make sure I don't have over a certain amount to get through security. So what? I freak out, and then I'm like, whatever, and I buy it. I just buy it when I'm in there.
Yeah.
Because I could tamper with it after I buy it in there.
No, but you couldn't have gotten... Okay, when I say tamper with, I mean make it into a bomb.
That's not it, babe.
Well,
I'm telling you, because even if that's not it. It's just rules and regulations that they can be like, this is our rule. You need to abide by it. Because there's nothing that they do special checking the liquids that's different than what's in there. Because I could go and tamper with it after I buy it in there and still bring in the same thing I bought in there that they're not going to check if I'm below their liquid limit. Okay. It's just about a thing of power and control.
Okay. Speaking of power and control, what are you doing later?
You're annoying.
I know.
Not you, apparently.
All right. So after we get through the mile of the mall, it was literally like a squiggly line. Like you couldn't even walk straight through it. They set up the shopping so that you have to go back and forth like through these S turns through this stinking mall, and then when you finally get out of the mall, then there's essentially a giant waiting room where they don't tell you what your gate is until an hour before departure, right? Yeah. So basically, once they announce, everyone's just chilling in this waiting room, and then they announce the gates an hour before, and it's a fucking mad dash trying to get to your gate. So there are essentially three wings there to the airport. So there's like basically a right side, a left side, and then there's the train side, right? So imagine that you only have, after you deduct the time that they close the flight, 40 minutes before?
That's more than I feel like.
I think they closed the flight.
in a lesser time span.
They closed the flight 40 minutes before departure. So once they announce the gate, you have 20 minutes to get to your gate. And it literally takes, if you miss that first train, you may not make your flight.
Yeah.
It is the most insane setup. I mean, we shoved people into the train, like, when we were getting on. Like, people were, like, looking at us.
I know, they weren't fucking moving. And I'm
No.
like, dude, squeeze in.
Yeah.
And, like,
there were
one guy
still,
was giving attitude. And I was like, I dare you right now to say something.
There were still 30 people trying to get on the train. And Shay and I, we shoved in because we were not missing another flight.
They're clearly not from New York. Because I'm like, dude, pack this fucking sub.
Well,
like,
people get on and they make themselves comfortable and they don't care about anyone else.
Yeah.
Right? Because there was room if people would have just moved all the way into the train.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they get on and they just stand there next to the entrance and then just wait for people to shove their way on. It was insane. So then, okay, backtracking, we missed the flight. We go to the customer service area and to rebook, and they fucking want to charge us $250 to rebook the flight that we just missed.
yeah.
Mind you, the flight was only $50 a piece to book it to begin with. So it just felt like a money grab at every
Ryanair, not to call you out, but
yeah,
calling you out a little because that was a mess.
Yeah, it was not awesome. It was
Yeah.
not awesome.
I mean, I just was so pissed that once I didn't even need to get to it because some lady was crying at the gate.
Yeah.
And she was like, it doesn't matter, you missed it. And I'm like, fuck it, fuck this, because I already knew we were going to miss it. So I was kind of pissed that I was like just going super fast. I'm out of fucking breath. I'm tired. I already had been traveling all day. So I just fucking went to the bar. I'm like, I need a fucking shot and a drink. Like,
Yeah, because you had already been at the gate for how long was it from the time that you arrived until I arrived?
I didn't wait for you.
No, I know, because I sent you ahead, remember?
Oh, yeah. I probably was like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, they definitely wouldn't have waited for you. And as time was going on, like, I literally met a stranger and started having a conversation with them because that's how much time.
I had accepted my fate at that point.
I accepted my fate on the train ride. I think that's why I was so annoyed, because I was just like, whatever. But I got your point to where it was like, we still need to at least try. Like, there's no way we would have been able. I mean, we probably could have rebooked a flight for the next day and just not have done their rebooking and went on their fucking website and did it.
That's actually
if it was like $50.
Except that, remember, the next two flights that morning, there was a 6 a.m. and a 7 a.m.
Oh, yeah, we were put on standby.
They were both booked. So, yeah, there were no flights to be had the next day.
So I guess the $250 was like a convenience kind of thing because we ended up being able to get on the earliest flight.
And that actually worked out. So if you do happen to take a Ryanair flight, do the priority thing, because that was the only way that we actually got on the next morning and got to sit together. They actually bumped people out of their reserved seats to allow us to sit together because we were priority and they weren't, which to me is just like, I mean, what a fuck you to the people who've already booked a seat.
But it was a pretty empty flight. Oh, no, you know what? I'm thinking of our flight that we recently
we've taken like 7
Yeah,
flights in the last 2 weeks.
It was a rowdy fucking flight.
Oh.
All I was thinking, and it took me a minute to say something to you, but I'm like, if this was a flight in America, there's no way not one person would have just stood up in their seat and yelled, shut the fuck up.
So what Shay's referring to is there were multiple. So this was a flight from London to Barcelona, or excuse me, Bar-tha-lona.
Bar-tha-lona.
There were no less than 3 groups of young Londoners, like, just...
Well, we don't know if they were all from London. We'll just say
Okay.
there were a young group of European girls.
There
It
were
wasn't even
there
the
was a
guys.
Group, no, there were guys further up, and there were guys behind us. But the group of girls were the rowdiest. They had a fifth of Jack, like that they were just passing around, and I've never seen such a thing. I mean, I'm all for it. Let people drink on the plane, have a good time. Breakfast beers and all that.
But it was 6:50. I mean, okay, we'll give them 7:00.
Yeah.
It was 7:00 in the fucking morning. I was like, even in my
No,
wildest
our flight left
days.
our flight left at 6, and they were on one. It was so great too because they were sitting in the exit row, and I'm just thinking to myself, if something happens and these drunk, like, Londoner, I don't know, I'm sure there's a term for the party girls in London, but anyway. I'm just thinking, okay, in an emergency situation, this is not going to be good. So,
I feel like that girl would have probably tried to like skydive out the plane if something happened and think that she could like land on her feet. Yeah, she was like on one, which I'm kind of admirable.
Multiple like little tidbits. So when we are approaching landing or preparing for landing, the flight attendant comes over to stow, like, whatever gear she's got. The flight attendant literally takes the fifth of Jack that's like half killed and just puts it up in the overhead and closes it. And it was just, I don't know what, it was just so funny to me.
As she held onto her carton of cigarettes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
I was like, damn.
They bought 2 cartons of cigarettes duty free on the plane.
I couldn't even believe they sold that. They were selling fucking lottery tickets. They were selling
lottery
perfume.
tickets. It was that. Yeah.
I have never in my life been on a flight like that. I felt like I was like in the Twilight Zone.
It was
like
wild.
This is not real. America would never. And
well, they don't allow you to they don't allow you to party on a plane anymore.
Well, yeah, and I understand why. There was a little girl sitting next to me, and I'm like.
So they also, you recall, they also had a, I want to say a water fight, but it was a Jack Daniels fight. Because after they would finish their drinks, just whatever little sip was left in the bottom of the glass, they were thrown at each other, and like so the girls were just covered in droplets of brown whatever when they got off. So there was another girl or lady sitting like next to them who also got hit with the Jack Daniels as they were flinging it on each other. Yeah. So to put a bow on this, as we're landing, they slam on the brakes or whatever, so Shay's phone like slides onto the floor, right? And unfortunately, the row in front of us, it didn't hit them. It ended up with the girls who were partying. And what did she say to you?
Oh, that I'm lucky I'm black. I'm lucky I'm black.
Yeah. They had her phone, and she was like, oh, you're lucky you're black. And you were like, what? And she was like, yeah, we wouldn't have given it back to you if you weren't black. And it was just like the weirdest thing.
They made fun of our accent.
Oh, that's right. She said, where are you from? And we said, oh, we're from San Diego, California. And she was like, California. You're from California. With her fake,
I mean, her accent was pretty good, but I was just like,
not feeling
it's better than being from London. It fucking rains here all the time.
Oh, are you getting dripped on?
It's raining here.
There's lightning happening in the background.
Yeah, I've been watching it the whole time.
Yeah. So, I guess all that to say, avoid Stansted.
At all fucking costs. Even when I told my sister, and everyone else was just like, yeah. Which I still don't know why we flew out of there.
Oh, hold on.
I feel like Ryanair is the spirit of England or Europe.
Oh, we got to go back. We got to rewind. How did we get out of the airport after we missed our flight?
Oh yeah, we like jumped a fence because.
Well, there was no way to exit.
Yeah.
Remember?
We were both like freaking out.
So yeah, we walked back to the security checkpoint because there was nowhere else to go, and we thought if we walked all the way to the end of the security checkpoint, there would be an exit opportunity, but there wasn't.
Yeah.
So then they basically sent us back another way, and they said, "Oh, you have to go to." Was it like VR9 or something like
or
that?
VP9.
VP9.
Was that it?
They're like, oh, you got to go to the VP9 exit. As though we know what the fuck a VP9 exit is.
And my only annoyance also was that we're asking the people that work there where to go. And, like, people are fucking chilling on their phones, not giving a fuck. I'm already, like, I'm on 10. And I haven't been on 10 for a very long fucking time. But, like, I remember just asking this guy where to go, and he's on his fucking phone. I'm like, dude, there's cameras in here. Like, I'm about to lose my goddamn shit, and you should be fired because this is an airport. 1, 2, like.
He was a uniformed airport.
I don't even care if you're on break.
Person.
Like,
right.
go
If you're
to
on
your break area.
yeah, go.
Like, you shouldn't be sitting out here. So, like, if you're identified as someone who...
I honestly think he was the guy we were supposed to talk to.
I was so fucking pissed.
Yeah, because when we went back the next day to get on our actual flight, I actually found where we should... Like, basically where they were trying to direct us to.
Yeah.
The day before. And, like, that's where the dude was just sitting, chilling. And we asked him, how do we get out of here? And he just shrugged his shoulders and went back to his phone.
And went on his fucking phone call. Wasn't even texting.
Yeah.
He was probably talking to his whole fucking, I don't know who. Better be your bitch. Because if you were ignoring me, like, you better have a good fucking reason.
Yeah.
Like, it just was not... Like, we both, at the end, like, lost our shit, and I feel like we were super frustrated, but it wasn't necessarily towards each other. I think we were frustrated because we knew we both were frustrated, and we both don't get like that.
Yeah.
And then we were frustrated at the situation, that at the end, like, you were like, I'm going to walk through this thing, like,
yeah,
just
so
fucking walk through
we
with
had
me,
found,
don't look
basically,
behind.
we had found the VP9, is that, whatever.
Or, yeah.
We found the exit that we were supposed to go to, but... And the reason that they don't want to let you out is because you were in a duty-free area.
You're in a mall.
You're in the mall. And if you bought things that were duty-free, they don't want you to walk back into general population or whatever without having paid the VAT, which is so dumb. And I hope you're not out of frame because it's raining like,
yeah,
wow.
it's raining like crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm not trying to be, but I also, like, don't want to get hit with lightning, and... This rain is coming down.
It is. So we get to this place where we can see daylight. We can just walk forward, but they won't let us. And they said, no, you have to go back here. And the signage looks like it wants us to go into the fucking men's room.
Yes, I walked into the men's room, and I was like, I am not supposed to be in here.
But that's the arrow points you. It says VP9 exit, and there's an arrow directly into the men's room. And I was like, you know what? Fuck this. Like, let's just go back out the other way. And I told Shay, I said, don't make eye contact. Don't say anything. Just follow me.
And what did I do?
She makes eye contact, and she says shit. And so I hop the barrier, and then, Shay comes in, and she's got, baggage. So we just drag it through. And luckily, the barrier just kind of opened, and we were out. We were free.
Yeah,
we could breathe.
Was like the worst. I've also never seen you like that. It kind of turned me on, but I also was like, I was like, damn, like, he never gets pissed off. So, like, I kind of felt validated being that pissed. But yeah, it was just not. Or I feel like they didn't want us to get out, because for me, like, if you weren't with me, I'd be like, you know what? I'm fucking pissed. Let me just sit down, grab some food, get another fucking drink, and then I'm going to figure my way out of here.
Okay.
Like, I feel like it's all mental. There's
we
a
are so
fucking
different.
thing on Netflix that explains how airports are built. And that's why I fucking think that they did that shit on purpose. I feel like we need to wrap it up.
Okay, let's put a bow on this. The last thing I want to talk about, though, is as there's a storm here. We're in Hvar, Croatia.
Yeah.
And, like, I thought it would be cool to set up our little studio here because the backdrop, I thought there'd be like boats cruising through in the middle of the night. But instead, we got thunder and lightning and rain. But hey, can we just give a shout out to Lion and Lamb?
Oh yeah, in London, they made our experience so much better.
We were just so frustrated with everything, and then we found this little pub that was like 10 minutes from the airport hotel. We had an incredible meal. Lion and Lamb out there near Stansted Airport. Hey, we love you guys. Incredible service. The best setting ever. Great food. Love you guys. And with that, let's get out of this rain, Shay.
Yes, listen to us anywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and
follow us on Instagram
at anything but CliShay.
We'll see you all next time. All right, welcome back to another rendition of Unpopular Opinions. So today, Shay, I'd like to talk about first-time home buying.
Ooh.
Yeah. So the unpopular opinion I have is that people should not be buying their first home for themselves.
Agreed.
So what they should be doing, it's your available credit is an incredible tool, right? I mean, you can, with a mortgage, you can come up with very little down. I think they've brought back programs where you can put as little down as like 3.5% of the home purchase price. And, you know, if you have enough available credit, you know, you can buy a pretty significant home. What's amazing about it, though, is if you don't have to buy that home for yourself. You can buy it, or not entirely for yourself. People should be buying their first home with an investment mindset.
Yeah.
So if they're going to live in their first home, as opposed to remaining in an apartment or what have you, they should be buying something with an income component. So a duplex, triplex, something where they can do a value add, where they maybe build an ADU in the backyard or, somehow split up the house, redo the garage as a studio, and they can rent that out. But there needs to be some kind of income component, because if you don't, basically a lot of people make this major mistake where they will stretch their home buying budget on their first purchase. So now it's like, man, we're so poor we can't even furnish the house. Like, we're house poor, right? I think you may have heard that term before, right? You buy this great house and now you're struggling. You're stretching every single month to make that mortgage payment, right? So now you're not putting anything away. Ideally, the home is still appreciating for you, which is great. But if instead you were to buy even if it's a single family home and you rent it out and it cash flows for you, well, now you're in a situation where, you can, you basically, what do they call it? It's your debt to income ratio. Yeah. So when you buy that first home, your debt to income ratio basically goes, it's no longer in your favor, right? But then if you put tenants into that home, then it flips back into your favor. Okay. So now, not only do you have tenants in that home, but you're also cash flowing. Guess what? Now you qualify for an even higher mortgage. So you can do it again, right? Yeah. So now you go out and you get a second rental income, a rental property, put renters in that as well, right? And then you can just continue to do that. Yeah. Now,
do you keep getting more?
In theory, you do, but it gets to be difficult to manage, right? Yeah. There is a caveat here. A lot of people would have a hard time managing a property on their own. I mean, something I'm dealing with right now, one of my rentals, I got to go and dig up the main water supply line that's underneath the sidewalk in front of the house. and repair a leak there, right?
Yeah.
But that's a skill set that I have that I think most homeowners don't.
You're a man.
But you know, I guess what I'm getting at is that you will be able to achieve your financial goals much sooner if you use your available credit in the form of a mortgage to, you know, basically pad your own income rather than stretching it and being, you know, basically house poor. You know, you're just in a much better position. I mean, if you stretch your first budget and then you want to buy a second house, but you're living in that first house, you're not going to be able to do it for like at least 10 years, right? Because it takes you a little while. You start to make a little bit more money in your career or whatever. You start climbing that ladder. You start making a little bit more money. So now you're in a position to finally start putting some money away, but you have to build your savings back up and be able to, you know, build another down payment. So it's
costly and timely.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, anybody who ever asks me, I always tell them, don't just buy a house for yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you know, think of it as a, you know, a long-term investment where, you know, just get an income component or rent the whole thing out. The funny thing is when you go to apply for a mortgage, they don't consider the rent that you're paying, right? So that doesn't even show up on a mortgage application because you're essentially going to live. I mean, they think you're going to live in that house. So, you know, the mortgage that you basically have can sort of pad your debt to income ratio even more because, or I guess go a little deeper in debt is really what I'm saying. You have a little bit more leeway there if you continue to rent. So that's my unpopular opinion. Don't buy a house for yourself. Buy a house for someone else. So that you can get to your dream home much sooner.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening to Anything But CliShay and Unpopular Opinions.
Thanks for tuning in to Anything But CliShay. Hit follow, smash that subscribe button, and maybe even send this to someone who really needs to hear it. For the spicy stuff we don't say on air, follow the show on Instagram at @anythingbutcliché. And for the full episodes, blog, and more, visit olismedia.com. Anything But CliShay is recorded in studios in San Diego, California, and proudly produced by Oles Media, an IVC media company.
Oles Media.